Yes, I, Grenada, Caracupiti, Monica, and the rest of the world. How are you doing? Folks, we want to welcome you to another Mikey Live on this your rainy Thursday night, people. This is where it all happens. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the Mikey. There are some things that you will be hearing tonight, and you will not hear anywhere else. So brace yourself. We are so happy that even though we are in the rainy season, we have not been getting a lot of rain. Of course, we have had the experts talking about that. And so tonight we are happy to welcome some good tropical weather. The real nice rain and thing. It's warm on the inside. We're looking for a sweat tonight. You know what I mean? So all brace all yourself. We have a lot of things to talk about. All right? So some of the items down on the agenda for tonight. Shooting victim dies, people. And I think this one has sparked a lot of reaction out there. Shooting victim has died. New port opens in Carriacou. Steel Band Association under investigation. Grenada Invitational not on the International Track and Field calendar. We'll talk about that. And new hospital administrator announced. So people, we have a lot more to talk about. All right. We also have the doctor with us, Dr. Ansley Mokiki from the Divine Medical Center and Diagnostic Services. He's on your screen. And tonight, we're going to be talking about yeast infections and so on. All right, so folks, brace all yourself for that. It's going to be nice. It's going to be informative. It's going to be entertaining and more. So all you, brace all yourself. We want to encourage you to share the program. You see, when you share the program, the world gets to see that we are on. Yeah? So go ahead and share the business, people. Don't be lucky and coward. And soon probably I'll be rewarding people who share the business. You know what I mean? So yeah, share the program. Now, folks, we're taking our first break and we're going to come back shortly. Remember, this is news discussed, not told. When we return, is real news in all the Lili Lolo. So here's what. Brace all yourself. And if you're on the program for the first time, we'd like to welcome you.
And so it begins. A journey like no other. Jungles so lush, they make emeralds jealous. Water that sparkles like diamonds. Mountains with more facets than precious gems. This is where good times are had, where love is strengthened, where memories are formed. And when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will never fade. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
Why not stay in? Turn off your alarm clock and stay in on your perfect mattress for as long as you like. Only at Quartz. Get 2 free pillows with the purchase of a bed frame or mattress. Get what you want now. With Ready Finance, there's no down payment and you pay nothing for 30 days. So turn off that alarm clock and stay in as long as you like. Only at Quartz. Bringing value home.
Does your laundry detergent have enzymes to fight stains, remove bacteria and odors while being gentle on your hands? Does your laundry detergent have a natural lemon scent, easy rinse technology, and fabric softener to protect your clothes? If you answered yes, then you must be using Glace. If not, what are you waiting for? Clace laundry detergent is made with a 4-in-1 advanced formula and is phosphate-free, making it safe for the environment and safe for washing machines. Clace, a clean home is a Clace home.
Alright, and it is distributed by Fortune Foods, Grenada Limited. I see there are so many of you on the program tonight. I'd like to welcome you folks. Right, so we have to go through quickly to most of the stories because we are limited for time, and we have a very interesting discussion for tonight. Alright, now it's dive-in time. Yes, on the Grenada Underwater Festival. Now folks, that is on. It has started. I think it's day number 2. I think, you see, we have a lot of things happening in Grenada, right, people, and you don't hear about them, but it doesn't mean that things are not happening, right? So the world first underwater sculpture park and the Caribbean's largest wreck dive, the Bianca Sea, is some of the things that people can experience when participating in the biggest party beneath the surface. The 2nd annual Pure Grenada Dive Fest is on the way. It's a 4-day event. It goes until October 6th. All right, and it is designed to showcase the destination's rich and diverse ecosystem, as well as the bountiful and vibrant marine life that can be found off the island's shores. All right, so folks, I think today they had a training and so on for persons who wants to learn how to swim and so on, and the different dive organizations around Grenada, they come together to offer that to the Grenadian people. Just about anyone who wants to participate in that, they they facilitated them. So I think that was a really good idea. So all you give them a clap. Things happening. All right, now the next thing that we have to tell you about, boys, Carriacou people. Carriacou get a new port and thing, you know. So it's a lot of new things that's going to be happening there. Yeah, new port and thing looking nice. Thing looking real nice. So we are not going to be having the national report tonight. So what I did is I took a 2-minute excerpt from the national report, all right, to talk about the new port. And here is my colleague Delroy Louison to tell us about it.
Carriacou and Petit Martinique's $3.4 million port project was officially opened on Thursday, and with it comes the expectation of enhanced services for passengers from regional and international ferry services. The new state-of-the-art facility at Tyrrell Bay Marina was constructed as a replacement to the old port in Hillsborough and is now home to a new welcome center, seating facilities, warehouse, office space, and washroom facility. The sod was turned to mark the start of construction in January 2017.
We at the Grenada Ports Authority are very happy that at long last we are able to provide persons traveling between Grenada and Carriacou with all of the basic amenities that traveling persons deserve. In that regard, we do hope that persons traveling on the Osprey and other local ferries are going to appreciate the shelter from the elements, the restroom facilities that have been provided, the seating accommodation, as well as the comfort of air condition that will be available as the need arrives.
That was General Manager of the Ports Authority, Carlisle Felix. Parliamentary Representative for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs, the Honourable Kendra Mathurin Stewart, says the new facility holds significant economic benefits for Carriacou and by extension Grenada.
What we, the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, have today is a state-of-the-art and modern port facility with significant improvement in warehouse space. With this facility, we expect to see significant improvement in the service to port users, a reduction in cargo dwell time, and improvement in vessel turnaround time.
Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell recognized the hard work of former Parliamentary Representative Elvin Nimrod in sounding the alarm for the need of the facility. He said because of that call, the sod was turned and today the project is a reality.
The strength of character and leadership of Elvin Nimrod and many people in Carriacou and Petit Martinique who stood up and said, yes, we need this development for the future development of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada. And that is why I'm saying that it's sad today, because I know he would have loved to be here.
The Tyrrell Bay Port facility was constructed by Jiangsu Geology and Engineering Company Limited. Carriacou and Petit Martinique's $3.4 million port project was officially opened on Thursday, and with...
All right, folks, so yeah, so we want to big them up for that, you know, and good luck. I saw some people on the Osprey, you know, today, because they were happy to use the service for the first time, or the port and thing, you know, everybody wants a little buy. So good. All right, Grenada wins Innovation Award for project that turns trash into chicken feed. You know what, we did not tell you about that, but we just want to let you know that we have posted that on our website, so you could go check it out. All right, because it's a story that came out a couple of days ago. All right, and they were saying that Grenada is really leading the way where that is concerned. So I thought that I should just mention it on the program, not going into details about that. All right, now folks, the next thing I'll have to tell all the boy, the Grenada Steelman Association, according to sources, is currently being investigated. I ain't telling you they say. You understand? The Grenada Steelman Association, people. should I say breaking news? It doesn't seem to be stopping. Right? Now, you guys remember it was about 2 Saturdays ago. There was a annual general meeting in which the president, Jason Skeet, he was voted out by the members. By well, it was a majority, you know, in terms of who showed up. So here's what happened. After that happened, the vote happened, it turned out that it wasn't constitutional. Based on the constitution of the whole thing, you understand? Based on the constitution, it was determined that the whole voting process wasn't constitutional. What happened then? Jason Skeet and his team resumed office. They started sending out press release and those kind of things. All right? Now we are understanding, and understand me, not Jason and his team, since they are just the new executive. But we are understanding from reliable sources, that the association is being investigated by the Financial Intelligence Unit. I mean, that's as much as we could say for now. We don't want to get too deep into the business, because as we are told, it's an ongoing investigation. You know? We heard Jason Skeet saying recently that he is willing to give whatever information he has to the Financial Intelligence Unit to assist them with their investigation, with any investigation that they may have. Why is this happening right now? Time alone will tell. We know that one of the past presidents of the association was being investigated for some money matters relating to a band in which he headed. What's the link between the two? Your guess is as good as mine. You understand, people? Your guess is as good as mine. And so we have to keep our eyes open on that one, people. We have to, because I think that one is really interesting. Let's see what will come out of it. All right? We are moving on. How are we looking for time, people? I had a nice little interview with Dr. Francis Martin and Kevin Frederick about something today, but I didn't find want to play, so we are just we'll bypass that for now. You understand? But yeah, people, so that's what we are hearing now. More investigation in all the Lily Lolo. I never hear that yet. All right, so I think I got it to work. Right, so folks, today was the first day for the Ark Peace in terms of the Chinese ship and their visit to Grenada. You understand? It's the first day. And so they are saying that in the first day, they were surprised to see so many people. There's one report that said that by halfway during the day, already, they would have seen about 400 patients. 400 patients, people. And so I think that's good. A lot of people utilize the service. You understand? It was early. They showed up at the port, waiting to be seen, you know, for different purposes, for different reasons. And we had an interview with Kevin Frederick and Dr. Francis Martin.
Interview with Dr. Francis Martin, who spearheads the medical aspect of things down here as it relates to visit for the ARC piece, the Chinese hospital ship. Dr. Martin, briefly, what's your assessment of today's operation so far?
So far, it looks like we are achieving our objectives. Started off this morning quite chaotic as expected based on our last experience, but as the morning progressed, working with our security personnel and our Ministry of Health staff, we were able to organize the medical responses in an orderly and structured manner. Persons were able to go on and seek care in all of the specialities that are afforded and given at the ship, to the extent where we were able to actually see in excess of 90% of the persons who showed up this morning and 100% of the people who showed up this afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Tell me something. I gathered from the Chinese that we had surpassed our target for ophthalmology as well as dental.
Yes, we have surpassed our target because for the best care, you have to do it within a certain time frame. But the two things here is that, first of all, the Chinese were, supportive enough and cooperative enough to accept the patients even if it went beyond the quota. It really speaks to the deepening of the relationship and the willingness to offer the services. We do hope that it will continue to do this on a daily basis. The other specialities I'm not hearing.
We'll have to pause on this one for now. We'll see if we could come back with that interview maybe tomorrow or later on in the program if time permits. But on Thursdays we are really pressed for time given the fact that we have the doctor as well. Thank you, Kevin, for facilitating that interview for us. All right, we're going to get it through. Possibly, like I said, later on or on tomorrow's program. Now, audio, the next thing that we have to discuss on the program, Grenada Invitational. Well, don't take it from me, we don't just do we homework. You understand? Don't take it from me. We don't understand, I don't understand what's going on, but I look into the athletic calendar. Look at the International Track and Field calendar does not currently show the Grenada Invitational. In fact, there seems to be another event marked for that particular date. An event in Cuba. So just before I come on the program, I was just trying to get one of the members from the local committee to see if they can interpret that for me. Because I know usually you have to apply and so on. Is a process to be considered on the calendar. It has been featured in the calendar before, but now it is not there. It's not there. So we're going to see what really going on with that. All right. We received a press release from the folks from the Grenada Invitational last week, which said that plans are on the way for the event next year. And we know that ESPN had signed on to be part of the Invitational for several years to come. I think it was a 3-year contract to that effect and so on. So, I think it's time that we probably have a nice little discussion about the Invitational, what's going on and so on, if all the matters, all the doubts have been put to rest and so on, But that one just kind of raised my, I became a little concerned when I saw the calendar, and I just see, if all want me make a little phone call and fix that a small thing, you know what I mean? We could just make a little phone call, a small thing, you understand? And it, poof, You just see name pop up, you know. Take a lot of time with us, you know. Alright, good. How we looking? Now, folks, the next thing that we have to tell all you about, boy. On your screen is deceased Garfield Cut Up Matthews, who died this morning at the General Hospital while being at the intensive care unit. You understand? He's a businessman. I know him through his fried jacks. You know, in Belmont and thing, he used to sell like a fried jacks and thing. You know, and when I used to live in the area, you know, like a Friday and thing, you want to drink a like a something, make sure you eat a like a fried jacks. So that's how I know the dude in that area there. So he died this morning. Now, as a background to this whole thing, let's tell you. Now, on Sunday morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning, he was shot. He was one of 2 persons who was shot. You know, the gunman is believed to be Rahim Kelshal, who was remanded to prison yesterday after he made his first court appearance. Now, after magistrate would have listened to the various applications and so on and arguments in his bail application, bail was denied. You understand? And so now there may be some new charges or an upgrade in the charges against the young man on your screen. Do you understand? He's a resident of Belmont, Rahim Kelshal, charged in connection with that shooting. 24 years old, you know. 24 years old. Huh? No. He was charged with 2 counts of attempted capital murder, 1 count of robbery with violence and possession of a firearm and ammunition. Now, attempted murder, the attempted capital murder charge was considering that both gunshot victims were warded at the General Hospital. But now that one of the victims has died, we expect an upgrade of one of those charges. Now, the shootings occurred sometime after midnight on Saturday. Now, Kelshal is alleged to have accosted and robbed a businessman of an undisclosed amount of money at his Kirani James Boulevard business place while wearing a mask. Now, mere minutes after making his escape, he's alleged to have shot his second victim, who was walking along the Jean Anglais public road. Now, according to reports, police have recovered 1 firearm. Now, according to eyewitnesses, it was the deceased who, before he died, identified the gunman. They are saying that he did not die in vain. They are saying that he was the one who attempted and successfully removed the mask of the gunman and was able to identify the gunman to police before dying. You know? Residents of the area is saying that Kelshal is believed to have committed offenses of a similar nature in the said village. If you check the police record, you would realize that to date, there is still a homicide which occurred in the area that is yet to be solved by police. 1 man was shot and killed, and no one has since been arrested for that killing. It is a matter of time that we will know whether or not these incidents link. All right? So, today's social media, it was, a buzz with everybody posting pictures and condolence messages and so on to the family of Garfield, cut up Matthews. We are moving on. All right, folks, there's a new hospital administrator that has been announced. All right, and probably we would have to talk about that another time because I see that we are really running out of time tonight, and we have to get to the Dr. Anselm Okeke from the Divine Medical Center and Diagnostic Services. We also want to say hello to the folks at WPG10. In fact, you know what? This report is only 1 minute. All right, so let's take in this report from our sister station, WPG10. We have Wendy Chateau to tell us about the hospital administrator.
New hospital administrator Karen McIntosh has given up a lucrative job in the USA to return home to serve her people and make a difference. That's according to Health Minister Nicholas Steele. The announcement was made at the weekly post-cabinet briefing. Minister Steele addressed the media about the growth and also the shortcomings of the sector. He indicated that it is important for the health system to be held accountable for its own. Furthermore, he believes that the comments made about the healthcare are politically motivated. One main issue the health system is faced with is the shortage of nurses who are now leaving Grenada to seek employment elsewhere. The health minister says this event is nothing new, while the union has been on national television implying that nurses are leaving. The health minister says he's unaware of such a report, nor has information reached him to prove that this is indeed the case.
Thank you very much, Wendy. And folks, on your screen now is our doctor, as we're going to be talking about a very important matter. And folks, before we go to the doctor, I really want to encourage you to share the program. Remember, you too can participate in tonight's discussion. I see we have almost 500 of you here, and I want you all to participate in tonight's discussion. And if you can't participate, at least to listen to this, because it is one that is very important, people. The whole issue of yeast infection. This is not only a topic for women, and you will see why in a moment. You'll see why in a moment. So before we go to the doctor, folks, if it's worth your time, I would like to encourage you to share the program. We're hitting share, let's go. We're hitting share right there. As well, while you're here, we want you to know that we have set up two things onto our website, two new features to our website, which is MikeyLive.com. One, we have set up our YouTube channel there. So for persons who probably want to deactivate their Facebook account for 5 minutes, for 5 minutes or for a few days, but you still want to be able to get the Mikey Live, you can do so via our website. Watch the program live via our website every night, every weeknight at 9. All right, you just hit the YouTube link on the website. Secondly, all our past programs are instantly uploaded to our website, MikeyLive.com. You click the tab that says Mikey Live, and you would find this program and all other Mikey Live programs right there, so that you can just choose which one you want to look at, and you'll be able to see that there. Today we are talking about yeast infections, and we are graced with the presence of Dr. Anselm Okeke from the Divine Medical Center and Diagnostic Services. Dr. Okeke, welcome to the program.
Good night, Mikey, and good night the rest of the public, and I hope all of you will hang around and stick around tonight to participate in this interesting topic. This is a super topic which everybody must participate. It's absolutely important. So I challenge most of you to hang around.
I agree, Doc. I agree. Folks, you would want to stick around for tonight's topic. It's very important. I mean, while I was doing my research for this topic, I realized that there's so many things that we don't know about these infections, so many misconceptions, so many misdiagnoses, and so on. So the doctor will help us with that tonight. So, Doc, the first thing that we want to talk about is having to have an actual explanation into what is a yeast infection.
Well, I will not go straight to define yeast infection. We have a conventional pattern of presenting our topic on weekly basis, okay? And we have to understand the anatomy, that's with the location, what part of the body where this fungus and the yeast infection is mostly affected. That's what we have to understand. Okay, we're talking about the skin, okay? The skin is the most important organ which we are going to discuss tonight. And how does it link? There are some structures and some membranes in the skin which because of the fact that the fungus, being the type of a cell, the type of cell that is round, and it multiplies in terms of burden, multiplication. So when we're talking of the yeast infection, we are talking of a mucous membrane. It is within the skin, and it has a line that is almost embodied inside the skin, within the skin, okay? It's one of the membrane, the layers that lies inside the skin. And I'm going to explain why is it that this fungus, this candida, this yeast infection is almost prominent around this area. We need to discuss that tonight. So for me, I have to also understand that based on the fact that this yeast infection thrives around this mucous membrane, especially around the mouth and also around what we call the structures in the females, which you're talking of vagina and also the vulva, and then in terms of the males, you also have the penile, that's the head of the penis, okay? We are going to discuss what is the interconnection between the all, okay? So, can I define it? What is yeast? Just like how Mikey asked the question, what is yeast infection? Okay, what is yeast infection? It looks like, if I could describe it, it has a very good function, a function that is required in the body, okay? Yeast infection is nothing but the fact that it's a part of fungus, okay? And fungus, because what our topic tonight is restricted to yeast infection, and what it means is that there is a type of cell, the cell that is a bit round, microscopic, okay? And that is, when you use a microscope, you can identify it. That looks like spores. And then what happens is that these cells multiply. It doubles as time goes on. And it actually survives where you have mucous membrane, where you have fluids, okay? Then the type of organism that is always affected by the most common cause of it is called the Candida albicans. The Candida albicans, though there are some other types of Candida, but see what happens. The body requires what? The body requires Candida. Candida is very important in the body. It helps in terms of protection, in terms of cushioning the body. But what happens? Where do we get things wrong? Where we get things wrong is only in the aspect of the fact that when there is an imbalance. And what do you mean by the imbalance? You see, bacteria. There's a type of bacteria in the body that is called a friendly bacteria. That's the normal flora, okay? And that normal flora has a balance with the fungus. It has a strike a balance, okay? In that case, the quantity, the volume, the number of the Candida and also the number of the bacteria should be the bacteria that is called lactobacillus. That lactobacillus should be proportional. It should be almost dynamic, almost uniform. And that is what happens. So what happened? That is the normal type, okay? The body requires Candida to thrive. It requires it, okay? But see where things get out of hand. When there is an imbalance. An imbalance is when one exceeds the other. When you have the fungus, you have the Candida thriving, superseding, and being higher and more than the bacteria. There are so many causes of that. So Mikey, I don't want to dominate. Let's hold on, okay? Yeah.
All right. So, Doc, one might be sitting and say, how do I know if I have a yeast infection? Help us understanding that.
That's an interesting question. when we're talking about this, you see, sometimes there is a possibility that a person might have, because we're talking of their normal flora, normal candida, normal type of the, like I mentioned, the body requires a certain quantity of this candida, okay? Just for protection, okay? You have, when you have the acidity, you have the pH scale that is balanced, okay? But see, how do we recognize this? Sometimes it is asymptomatic. In that case, the body, a female might have this candida and nobody knows. It's just there. It is part of the female part, and also it's a defensive mechanism in the body, okay? But we see where things get out of hand. Like I said, a patient, a person who is diabetic, how do we link it? How do we link it up? You see, diabetes, or a person that is diabetic has too much glucose, has too much sugar in the body. And these bacteria, and this fungus, and this yeast survive in the presence of this glucose, this sugar, and it survives there. It starts increasing, okay? Also, we have a situation where someone who has a suppressed immune system, this will thrive this fungus and this yeast infection to start multiplying. We also have in a situation in pregnant females. See what happens. You see, because of the hormonal imbalance, let me tell you, you know the hormone called estrogens. Estrogens help in terms of helping the body to fight against even this fungus infection called the yeast, okay? But in a situation where a female who is pregnant, see what happened? What happened is that the estrogen drops. And so for some females, as the females are getting older or even at their menopausal age, the estrogen starts dropping. It starts dropping. And as it drops, the fungus and the yeast infection start thriving. And also in a situation of stress, when people are under stress, when people find it difficult to sleep. I know that some people who do night shift, people who cannot sleep, they have an exposure. They have the risk of having this candida, in the sense that this will actually decrease the immune status of the body. And look at also in children, in young children, and you see, babies, neonates, because first 6 months they have an immune system that is also, you see, they have what to call a type of immune system that is generated, that is actually borrowed, actually gotten and can pass in from their mom. And it gets a time after 6 months, this immune system it drops, and then there comes the candida. Candida start multiplying, and that's where you see that sometimes in children you see that in their oral cavity you have the mucous membrane start thriving with this candida, this yeast infection, this candida, and that is one of the things, okay? So there are so many causes of it. Even people who eat too much food, too much sugar, too much glucose, people who have lack discipline in terms of eating, they are also exposed to this yeast infection.
Wow. Well, who would have ever thought that so much was involved with something as simple as the yeast infections? You know, so folks, I told you, you were going to find out a lot of things that you didn't know about these infections. And don't forget, during the course of the program, you can feel free to ask your questions. Doc, do yeast infections go away on their own?
Well, yes, it is possible, but that depends on the degree, the severity. There's what we call mild yeast infection, and there's also moderate and severe yeast infection. In the case of mild yeast infection, there might be resolution. It could resolve. The patient or the person who has these yeast infections might have it, and it will disappear, okay? Disappear even without treatment, okay? But in the case of severe and even the moderate yeast infections, of course, there must be remedy. And one of the remedies is to come and seek the counsel and the consultation of a doctor. Maybe you can come to Divine Medical.
I was waiting for that. Okay, so let's talk about Grenada's cases. Do you see many cases of yeast infections in Grenada?
Well, before we proceed to that, we have to also, because there was a question you asked, but you didn't wait for me to land, okay? Maybe I was talking too much. Okay. Okay. So let's go. How would a person who has yeast infection recognize that? Okay? Good. That's a very important question. Let me tell you. The symptoms of yeast infections include, one, a person will be having itching. Okay? The person will be having itching. Itching around mostly the vagina area or even the vulva area.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
And as a result of that itching, because when someone is itching, there will be redness, okay? The person, there will be irritation, okay? First, irritation as a result of some of these, the influence of all these stuffs, like all the too much glucose and all the risk factors which I've already mentioned, okay? That will cause irritation. As a result of irritation, the person will be itching, okay? And because the mucous membrane is very, you see, most of this will actually start thinning, okay? Because the mucous membrane is thick, is a bit thickened, okay? But due to the influence of these risk factors, this will cause the atrophy or the thinning of the mucous membrane, and that will lead to irritation, and that will lead to itching. And as a result of that, when the person is itching, there will be redness, there will be rashes, and then there will be swelling, and then eventually, what is the tell sign? The telltale sign of it, which if I look at any patient who has candidiasis, when I look at it, I'll know, I'll see something. I'll ask you just one question. Do you have a type of discharge that looks like what we call it cheese? Cheese. You know what's called cheese? What okay?
Cheese. The cheese that you eat?
The cheese that you eat.
Oh.
Understand? That's a telltale sign, okay?
I ain't eating cheese no more.
No. It's just like a telltale sign. Something you can use to recognize.
Okay.
Is it okay? When you look at it, you will definitely know that, okay, you should also have in mind that there are other types of disease conditions that might mimic, that might masquerade. You might think that the person has a yeast infection, but it takes an experienced mind to understand. Because sexually transmitted diseases like something like gonorrhea, chlamydia, even trichomoniasis, bacterial vaginosis, all these things could masquerade, okay? And you might think this person has candidiasis. I have seen cases of so many people thinking when a female comes, that is why there is absolute need for you to see a physician. A physician will help to diagnose, okay?
Right.
And differentiate, because sometimes that's okay. I prefer to be. Mikey, ask me questions, please. I'm talking to you, okay?
Well, the doc is on fire tonight. Woo! Somebody cool down the doc. All right. So, doc, somebody wanted to clarify a doubt. Okay. So, in the cases where there's itching, does that only apply to females with the yeast infection or males? And if males having the itching, where is the itching? Is it in the, your testicles also?
Okay. This could be passed on both sides, okay? A male could pass it to the female, and the female could pass it to the male, okay? Here's the link. Here's the link.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you see that this mucous membrane that I've already mentioned, okay?
Right.
The mucous, there's a part of the skin that's called the mucocutaneous region, okay? And this mucocutaneous, the foreskin, that's the head of the penis, is lined by the mucocutaneous membrane, okay? Right. And then you have the vagina, also the vulva, that is lined by the mucous membrane, okay? So now, see what happened? A female could pass it on to the male. And that is one of the things that could cause what we call balanitis. Balanitis. Balanitis is an infection and an inflammation of the head, the cap, which is called the foreskin, okay? So in that case, a female who has candidiasis or yeast infection could pass it on during sexual intercourse. Okay? On the other hand, or paradoxically, the male could also pass it to the female. Okay? So that is the way it goes. However, the symptoms are still the same. Whether it is applicable to males or to the females, the symptoms are still the same, which I've already mentioned. Okay?
Okay. So, let me ask, so can it be regarded as an STD?
Like I said, it is not classical. It is not, candida or yeast infection is not classified as a STD. Okay? So I cannot see a patient who I'm suspecting to have a candida infection and I will be suspecting STI. Even though that there is still this transmission, but the fact is that the risk of this transmission is the risk is minimal transmission, and that is why it is not classified as STD or sexual transmitted infection. Okay? It is unlike a person who engage in or indulge in unprotected sexual intercourse and unluckily have a partner that has something like chlamydia or has gonorrhea. That person with gonorrhea or chlamydia will have a high chance of transmitting this infection to the next person as compared to a person who has a yeast infection, passing it to the next person because it has a low means of transmission. Okay. And that is why it's not classified as STI.
Okay. Doc, I'm just thinking out loud. Forgive me if I ask a question that sounds off.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, when you have a yeast infection, it can manifest itself or show itself up in the vaginal or penile areas or even the mouth. Now, do they come both at the same time or it will be one or the next?
Well, the fact is that it depends on the severity, okay?
Okay.
Like I mentioned, if it is mild, the rate of transmission become less, okay? But if it is severe, the transmission will be high, okay? And also, the transmission or infection through the vagina is different from transmission or infection through the oral cavity, okay? Take for example, a person who indulge or kissing the partner could spread or could actually transmit the candida infection through the mouth, okay? Then the means of getting or for a person to acquire the yeast infection through the vagina, they are actually different, okay? So in terms of spread or transmission, they are not synonymous.
Okay, I think I got out to you the answer that I wanted. Okay, good. All right. Folks, remember you can ask a question or two if you feel like, all right? Don't just talk about the doctor's energy tonight. Okay? Now, I think you may have just alluded to it, but just for the people who might just be joining us in terms of whether or not it has a smell. Let's talk about that.
Well, Mikey, let's backtrack. There was a question you asked, which I did not answer because I was talking too much. Okay, let me answer the question. You asked, Mikey, what is the incidence of this candidiasis in Grenada? Right. I did not answer it. Okay? Can I answer it? Yeah. Good. Look, candida infection or yeast infection is the commonest female infection. Almost about 70% of females acquire or have this candidiasis or yeast infection. And that is why this topic is important. Okay? That's why we decided to discuss this topic tonight. Okay? Because it's very important. Okay? Worldwide statistics of the patients with candidiasis, this yeast infection is almost about 70%. Okay? So it is applicable to Grenada society. In my practice, this is one of the commonest. Female disease condition. So it's very common, super common in Grenada. Okay.
All right, thank you very much, folks. You heard that yourself, that it is super common in Grenada. Some of you are asking questions that doesn't pertain to the topic. I also see questions that were already answered, so keep up. All right. Somebody wants to know, what's the fastest way of getting rid of a yeast infection?
A person is trying to stab me tonight because I'm not giving the information. I have to survive, okay? You come to Divine Medical and Diagnostic Services. Anyway, treatment and fixing of this candidiasis or yeast infection depends on the severity, okay? If it is mild, like I said, it could be resolved, okay? Then if it is moderate or very severe, then it calls for treatment. I know that there are some folks in the past that have advocated and advised for native or non-conventional pattern of managing it using something like what do you call it, all this turmeric or ginger and all those stuff, okay? But we don't recommend that because it's not evidence-based practice, okay? Then also, good hygiene is very important. Then to answer that question which this person asked, I may not answer that question, okay? If you want the fastest way to manage it, come to Divine Medical and Diagnostic. We'll fix it fast. We don't waste time. That's it.
All right. Somebody wants to know how to get the pH of the body, pH up.
Okay. Can that person ask the question properly? But let me answer it, okay?
All right.
When you're talking of pH, pH is the measure of acidity, okay?
Right.
You have the balance between the alkalinity and the acidity, okay? Right. So how do you get it up? The way to skyrocket the acidity is also to do what? Is to decrease the alkalinity, isn't it? Because the acid will neutralize the base, which is the alkaline, okay? So in that case, if you reduce the alkaline, you are skyrocketing or increasing the acidity. That is one of the facts. But is this question pertinent to the discussion we have tonight, which is yeast infection, okay? In the case of yeast infection, when the acidity is increased, that will cause irritation, and that will destroy the fungus, destroy the yeast, okay? Because this yeast infection do not survive in the presence of acidity, okay? That is the link.
All right. Okay, thank you. Folks, are there any more questions that you need to ask? Because I see that we are running out of time. Doc, is there any area of this topic? Well, no, based on the speed we're going tonight, it seems like we could talk about this thing for the whole night, Doc. Yeah?
I prefer the general public to be asking questions.
Yes.
That's better, eh?
Right.
Or else I'll keep talking till tomorrow morning.
Right. Doc, how concerned should men be about yeast infections? Are women supposed to be a little more concerned than men, or is it shared among both sexes?
Well, I think females should be more concerned than males, okay? In the sense that females have a very wide surface area in terms of the transmission of this infection, okay? Males have only one spot, just a small spot, and that's the cap of the penis, okay? And that's the only way. And except, I've already discussed that, except in terms of immune suppression, when the person might contract it through the oral cavity, okay? There are people who have HIV, so many diabetes, and different disease conditions that will suppress the immune system, and that could be one of the ways that even males and females might contract it, okay? Right. But in the aspect of having sexual intercourse, because that's where this question comes in, okay? Well, the concern should be more of the females, okay? The females should be more concerned, because most cases of statistics and epidemiology, and also the incidence of patients with this candidiasis or yeast infection is common in females as compared to males. The transmission of the yeast infections in males is very, very rare, very rare. It's not common, okay?
Okay, and we see that.
And it's common in males that are uncircumcised.
Oh.
Uncircumcised males, okay?
Okay, okay. Doc, I see some people are talking about douching.
Yes, yes, yes. Those are the, I discussed about the mucous membrane, and that this fungus, these yeast infections thrive where there is what? Concentration of fluids, okay? And when the person is douching or even using a chemical, that or any type of chemical or soap that will irritate this mucous membrane, that will thin, that will reduce the size of this mucous membrane. In that case, that will irritate the mucous, irritate the surface of that area, and then that will cause itching, and that will cause the multiplication of these yeast infections, and that's why it comes.
All right, Doc. All right, folks. The doc who probably needs to lower his temperature by the time he comes out on the program, because he's going to overheat with the topic tonight. The doc is firing, and you know, on all cylinders. He's turbocharged tonight. And Doc, the people online, they're talking about how energetic you are tonight, and they are speculating in terms of what is the reason for the energy. But I don't know. Probably at the end of the program, you could correct them, or you can confirm. You know, you can confirm or deny the source, you know, of your energy. All right. So, Doc, I see that we have run out of time. I want to thank you for coming by again to discuss this topic with us. And while Doc goes off the screen, we have his marketing personnel who is going to be with us.
Thank you very much. And, okay.
Yes. Right, we have his marketing personnel who is going to be coming on screen to talk to us about the Divine Medical Center and diagnostic services. All right, we take a quick break and come right back.
Listen to what you had to say and turn up the old rules, because losing what you paid for is just wrong. Now, lost data and talk are a thing of the past. Only Digicel gives you unlimited rollover data and talk. Just buy and renew your QuickPick bundle before it expires and keep what's rightfully yours. Never lose what you don't use. Go to My Digicel app to bundle up and roll over today. Digicel.
Dwayne and Louisa
Heritage Theatre presents Breaking Out, a new full-length drama written and directed by Christy Riggs.
Louisa, will you marry me?
Boy, you crazy?
I love you, Louisa. I'm serious.
You reach love real quick.
Breaking Out, opening Saturday 29th September at Marishow Theatre and continuing.
But I still love you, Richie.
You love me and you're hard in me. Breaking Out, a story of love, challenged, tested, and driven to its very limits.
He's the love of my life, Auntie. You have to marry a man for other things besides love, child.
Breaking Out, a story of high drama and suspense.
I'm gonna count to 3, and when I'm finished, you should already be walking towards the door. 1, 2.
Wait, so you're gonna just shoot him down like a dog?
Breaking Out, starring Robert White and Lisa Grappy James. breaking out, an opportunity for taking out the entire family.
This ad complements Quartz Grenada Limited.
Okay, thank you very much, folks. And we have Akeem in studio with us tonight, and Akeem markets for the Divine Medical Center and Diagnostic Services. Welcome back to the studios, Akeem.
Good night, everyone.
All right, so Akeem, talk to us about the services of the Divine Medical Center and Diagnostic Services. It's all yours right now.
Yes, good night to the open public, good night to Mikey, good night to everyone who's locked on to Mikey Live. And I'm going to tell you what the services that we offer at the Divine Medical Center. We do family medicine, specialist consultations, ultrasounds, physical therapy, counseling, home visits, medical tests. And our location is at Granby Street, Lower Market Hill, next Ellie Purser building. And you can call us at telephone numbers 435-1539, or you can even call us at 421-1529, or you can email us at divinemedicalservices@gmail.com. And we are opened from 7:30 a.m. at the morning, and we close 7:30 a.m. at the evening. And we have some services going on for the open public who do not know. We are going around testing persons' pressure and their sugar. You know, we are trying to do all the parishes in Grenada, but right now we stick on St. George's at the moment. We're trying to finish up St. George's area, then we'll move on to the next parishes, you know. Because, you know, Mikey, sometimes persons cannot, you know, come to our center, you know, so we prefer to go out there and meet them to give them more service. Yes.
Okay. So how does that work? You go to the various villages in the parish, or you're just stationed at one place and people come there to do it?
No, we go to the homes in the parishes, different places. Yeah. So we come to right in front of the door to give them our services.
Okay.
Yes, and that's going to be going on to the whole of Grenada. Yes, but the meantime we are St. George's, you know, the persons in the market, the old people. And just a reminder, you know, persons just think that, you know, testing the sugar has to be done every month or every 2 weeks. No, Mikey, it doesn't have to be like that. Your pressure and your sugar has to test, right? Before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning, right? Yeah. And one more thing that I have to say is that we tested someone, was last week Friday, and the pressure was 4 something. Yeah.
And that's pretty high?
Yeah.
The sugar?
Yeah. And we had to rush them to the hospital immediately.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes you think you're okay, and a spontaneous test can reveal that you are really sick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right. So thanks again, Akeem, for coming by and sharing the information with us. And we hope that persons will utilize the services of the Divine Medical Center and Diagnostic.
Yes.
All right?
Yes,
all right, thanks again. All right, folks, and that's Akeem from the Divine Medical Center and Diagnostic Services. Now, before we leave you tonight, of course, you will want to know what the weather is like, right? We got some showers a moment ago. The weather is expected to be partly cloudy in the evening time, right? Increasing in cloudiness overnight with showers and a low chance of thunder. There is no marine advisory in effect. And the sun is expected to rise tomorrow, God's willing, at 5:57 a.m. That's our program for today, folks. We invite you to join us again tomorrow, God's willing, where we're going to have the In the Paper segment, a review of some of the big stories for the week and more. We want to say thank you to you for tuning in as well. Let's say hello to some of the names on the program. We have Ezran, Angel, Wayne, Sherbin, Melly, Trevelyn, Hazel, Deslin, Nika, Zaka, Jasmine. I see we also have with us Rayburn, Kireen, and Whitney and Cindy. Cindy's been a while. Naomi, Reginald, Spice Girl, and the usual suspects are here with us tonight. And so I say thank you for so doing. Irma, I see you there. Sharon Rush, you're there as well. We're Malika. We see you there as well. All right, so we're hoping to see you guys tomorrow, God's willing. I might give away some free credit tomorrow. You never know. All right, so God bless you and your family. Are you ready? All right. Oh, and by the way, my grandfather is with me. I want to say hi to my grandfather. All right, Sidney Hutchinson, Senior, Super Senior, is here. And my mom and my sister, they are here as well. All right, spending some time. Yeah. Good. And they're reciprocating the visit. All right? And soon it will be, you know, it will be a continuous thing. So, yeah. All right, guys. So, all the best. Are you ready? Let's go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We all say, ja! No. Good night, everyone. God bless you. And don't forget, we have a big event coming up, boy. All right? The Chocolate Physique. And it's going to be going down on the 24th of October at the Yacht Club. This is going to be an event like no other. It's put together by True Masqueraders. Mikey Live is a sponsor. Also, we have Bad Bunny on our list as well. So we're going to be telling you more about that in the coming programs. God bless you. Do have yourselves a great evening.